Hey, it's Soul with another video, and today we're going to talk about the recent-ish developments that have gone on in the Battle for Azeroth expansion concerning the Horde. Although more specifically, we're going to focus on the Zandalar trolls and the Zandalar Empire itself. The new cutscenes we've seen from both the Horde and the Alliance have been, dude, nothing short of awesome. It's full of lore, reveals, spectacle, and most importantly, questions, and we're going to get to all that throughout this video. If you enjoy yourself today, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more of this and all things Warcraft, or to follow me on social media like Twitch, Twitter. Oh yeah, one more thing. Spoilers, lots of spoilers, and without further ado, let's get to it. We start off with the Horde having just barely escaped Stormwind. The Prophet Zul, Princess Talanji, the Thanos Blightcaller, and you, the champion, are getting away, but a number of Alliance cruisers are in hot pursuit. Zul seems satisfied with the outcome so far. Of course, we learn later on that it's definitely not, and it has a lot to do with him. Zul seems to know a little bit about Sylvanas, noting that she seems very powerful and certain. In control, he adds. It almost seems a little bit sarcastic, once again kind of foreshadowing what Zul's actual plans are, and asserting that maybe the Horde won't get exactly what they want here. Zul also says the same thing of Princess Talanji, either because he's confident in her, or that he's confident that he's fooled her too. Now we get to see Talanji for the first time in cinematic form alone, in the lower deck of her ship. She seems to be consulting the Loa, and in this case, Razan, the Loa of kings and queens. And we move to a wide shot where we just get a glimpse of his power in this, astral plane form kind of place. But she seems to have total faith in him. And this faith is very important. According to the lore surrounding the Loa, the strength of a Loa is partly dependent on those who have faith in them, and Razan returns the favor to Talanji by acknowledging her strength, her bravery, as well as those who want to bring her down. Such as right now, the Alliance cruisers show up, or by their proximity they pretty much decloak because, someone should have warned them that ships were coming. It's not like the weather's bad, they can see those things from leagues away, I'm sure. Everyone on board is in a panic, except for Talanji, and I guess you, the champion, because you're just probably watching, but she just strolls up, fully confident or faithful in Razan or in herself. But with only a few gestures, we get to see a second appearance of Razan's might. With just a shove, he pushes Talanji's ship out of range of the Alliance cruisers and into the fog bank. Oh, but even better, it leads up to this super exciting moment when Talanji parts the cloud bank, revealing the sun just peeking out behind the full might of the Zandalar fleet. And without a word, the Zandalar line unleashes hell. This right here is a fun shot, and it wasn't lost on me that this is kind of reminiscent of Tony Stark in the first Iron Man movie after he tested out some very dangerous weapons for some folks. Talanji demonstrates to Nathanos the might of the Zandalar navy. Check out Nathanos, he's like, holy crap. How did she do that? Is that fleet always there just waiting for someone to get close? Did Talanji plan this the whole time? Did Zul have a hand in this? Doesn't matter though. The only thing Talanji cares about is that they're home. The second cinematic needs a lot of context. In order to get to this point, Horde players need to have played through all three of the zones in Zandalar: Zuldazar, Nazmir, and Vol'dun. Completing these zones gives us all the context that we need to understand exactly what's happening here. Zuldazar is under attack. We're a little bit before the battle though, and Talanji arrives to assess just how dire the situation looks. In the face of all this death, Talanji nearly despairs, and her father, King Rastakhan, notices. Feeling the despair himself, after experiencing betrayal, the loss of his Loa Razan, and his own near death, his despair turns into desperate action. Setting up a quick ritual and an offering, the king summons Bwonsamdi, the Loa of death. And from this, we get a look at Bwonsamdi in a cinematic form for the very first time. And I think that's at the moment Bwonsamdi has captured the hearts of many. He's fun. He is a lot of fun. He's like a cross between a character in an anime called Death Note, who is also like a custodian of the dead. But funny enough, with his whimsical and kind of mischievous nature, I'm also reminded of Robin Williams' Genie from Aladdin. He's kind of chill, sassy. He's like, hey, why have you come to see me? And Bwonsamdi is a big contrast to the very serious King Rastakhan. Because make no mistake, he's stressed, there's a lot going on. His kingdom, his daughter is in danger. He needs help, and he's even willing to turn to the Loa of death. Rastakhan wants Bwonsamdi's power. Somehow that's supposed to give him the strength to protect his kingdom. And Rastakhan is willing to, promote Bwonsamdi into a main Loa. As said, the strength of a Loa is kind of dependent on the number of people that worship them. Bwonsamdi is a little bit different though. Being the custodian of the dead, according to the lore, he gets stronger with the more souls that he has under his thrall. So the Loa of Death isn't quite satisfied with that. Soon you'll get tired of old Bwonsamdi, he says. He dares the king to try again. So this time, King Rastakhan offers his bloodline. He, his daughter, his grandchildren, and so on will serve alongside the Loa of Death. And he likes it. Now Bwonsamdi will have the Zandalar royal family bound to him, both in life and in death. And so, with a little bit of hesitation on King Rastakhan's part, they shake. And it's not just a shake. It's like one of those Harry Potter Unbreakable Vow visual effect that obviously this contract or this agreement between the two of them is absolutely binding. With the contract sealed, Princess Talanji finally finds the king, does not notice any of those ritual tools or ingredients that are on the ground below. So at the moment, the princess does not know that both she, her father, and her bloodline are now tied to the Loa of Death. So, good going. And from there we move to the final Zandalar cinematic. Dazar Alora is under heavy attack by the Blood Trolls and the Sethrak. Somehow, Zul is just hanging out at the Great Seal, and no one from the Horde seems to be present there. Zul calls in his trump card, Mithrax. We don't have all the information on how the relationship between Zul and the Old Gods works, other than that Queen Ashara is involved. Right now, the objective is to destroy the Great Seal. Doing so will free Gahun, an alleged Old God, and one of the most important pieces that drives this entire story. Now totally desperate, King Rastakhan calls in his favorite to Bwonsamdi to give him the power that he needs to save the day. And so he does, giving the king the power to jump really high. And then we get a cool sequence of guys with really big teeth and big hats fighting each other. Mithrax powers up his Death Star tentacle thing. It's looking bad. King Rastakhan lashes out, and finally, defeated but victorious, Zul just gives up. And the king wastes no time. Neither does Mithrax though, firing off that chest laser, destroying the Great Seal, but presumably not anybody inside. The High Priest decides to make his last moments memorable by talking smack, and King Rastakhan ain't gonna have that, pushing him off of the Great Seal and to his death, at least for now. Meanwhile, the Loa of Death seems pretty satisfied with everything that went down. Zul is dead, a lot of Blood Trolls and probably a lot of Zandalari Trolls are dead too, and now he has the Zandalari royal family under his control. So at this point we have a pretty good idea of what's going on regarding the state of the nation with the Zandalari Empire, and well, things aren't looking so great. Gahun, the old god, is at the gate. The royal family seems to have been compromised by Bwonsamdi, and the Horde might be rethinking, you know, maybe we chose a bad ally to go with. Going with what we have though, we have to wonder to ourselves, what's next? And a lot of these questions at the moment are resolving around this Loa of Death, Bwonsamdi. We know that we're going to fight Gahun at some point, among others that were involved in this conflict, but it's the aftermath that fascinates me, as well as the unknowns, like for example, is Vol'jin going to show up at any point in this storyline? And there's been a lot of speculation regarding Vol'jin and Sylvanas and Bwonsamdi, the possible relationship or connection between the three of them, the ideas of death, and whether or not there's going to be a big conflict. There are many who refer back to the moments just before Vol'jin's death when he assigned Sylvanas the position of war chief. He says that he spoke to the spirits and that many won't understand why he made the choice to have Sylvanas become war chief, Sylvanas herself included. Some say that the old gods manipulated Vol'jin into making this decision. After these cinematics, the conversation is shifting just a little bit, and I kind of want to explore this a little bit more as to whether or not it was Bwonsamdi himself who might have manipulated Vol'jin to make this decision. We've observed throughout the questing that Bwonsamdi is very greedy. He wants to control as many souls or spirits as possible because it gives him power, and Sylvanas might feel the same way too as soon as she learns about him. I'm going to speculate a little bit, and this is just for fun. Don't take this too seriously. So what if Bwonsamdi told Vol'jin to make Sylvanas the war chief? What's the reason why? And why would Vol'jin listen to him? Because even though he might be referred to as the Loa of Death, I don't think Bwonsamdi is the Loa of Slaughter either. As much as he does gain strength from the dead, he is a Loa, and in a way he still thrives on the living to worship him. Maybe because Sylvanas is the type who defiles the dead, Bwonsamdi just doesn't like her and would rather see her get killed. So he tells Vol'jin whatever he needs to hear to get him to make her war chief. Or maybe he sees Sylvanas as a potential partner. Don't worry boys, I'm not talking about that kind of partner, I'm talking about a partner in death. After all, they both do stuff with dead people. And in the meantime, the Lich King might not be, well, as interested in making friends. I'm almost certain that this is wrong, especially because Blizzard tends to write a more simpler story regarding the world of Warcraft, but maybe this is all some sort of lead up to a really big undead showdown between Bwonsamdi and Sylvanas and the Lich King and Calia Menethil, and who knows. But overall, these cinematics were incredibly cool. They revealed so much, but at the same time, it lit up a road that leads into all these different possibilities, and I can't wait to see what's next. So that was my analysis on these Zandalar cinematics. Did you enjoy them? Did you think they were cool? Share your thoughts or anything else like that in a comment below, and I'll see you next time for more of this and all things Warcraft. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and stay breezy.